Damn it, it's been such a long, annoying night, I said out loud as soon as I stepped out of the restaurant where I worked. Why are the last-minute customers always so rude? I mumbled as I watched a car filled with people who just screamed at me drive off. After they were gone, I let out a deep sigh. I couldn't let it get to me. After all, nearly every night there's another one of them. Once I let it go, I pulled out my phone and started walking home. I might as well do something to cheer myself up, I said as I opened my favorite game. Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, which was also the ultimate crossover of the franchise. It was the perfect pocket-sized version of my favorite series, and I played it whenever I could, even during work hours. I was going to do my daily stuff real quick, but I ended up getting distracted working on my amazing team. The main person on my team was the greatest character of all, female Robin. To back her up, I pair her with a version of Chrom with an axe, Lucina on a mount with a lance, and Lissa my healer. Altogether, I had a perfectly balanced and unstoppable team, one made of characters from my favorite game. I was about to start my daily stuff when a message popped up on the screen. A new event? Those from the Realms, I said, reading the message out loud. Sounds awesome, I'll try it now, I said excitedly as I tapped the button to take me to the event. As soon as my finger touched the button, my vision faded and my body went numb. After that, I felt like I was asleep, yet somehow awake at the same time. Hey Robin, this is no place to be taking a nap, a strong masculine voice said right before the sound of metal clashing together filled the air. Huh? I mumbled as I opened my eyes. She's awake, Chrom, a girl who looked just like Lissa said while smiling at me. Good, get Mother to her feet and we'll retreat, a woman who looked like Lucina and was riding a horse said as she lunged at some Risen with her spear. Right, Robin, give me your hand, Lissa said as she reached her hand out towards me. I was so confused, my head was aching, and I had no idea if any of this was real, so I just stayed silent and took her hand. She helped me up and then held my hand firmly as we ran away from the battle into an area with more cover. Once we were safe enough away, Lissa stopped and looked around. All right, we should be safe here. Go ahead and sit down. You need to rest for a bit, she said as she helped me get to the ground. All right, but what's going on? I asked as I got comfortable on the ground. Lissa seemed confused by that question. You don't remember? They hit you on the head pretty hard, huh? Lissa grabbed her staff and pointed at me. Don't worry, I'll keep healing you. I raised my eyebrow when she said that. As I'm not an idiot, just because she looks like Lissa and has a staff doesn't mean she's Lissa and that she can heal with the staff. I was left speechless when the staff started glowing and I felt my headache go away. What? You just used magic, I said loudly, feeling shocked, confused, and amazed all at once. Lissa tilted her head. Yeah, I heal you all the time. Wait, don't tell me you have amnesia again, Lissa said, looking quite panicked. Amnesia? No, I remember everything. Wait, who do you think I am? I don't even think we've actually met before, I say as I look at her. You don't? Wait, perhaps you're a different Robin, Lissa says as she puts her finger on her chin. Though that wouldn't make sense. You were with us the whole time, all the way up until you got hit on the head, so there was no way for our Robin to get swapped out for another one. Wait, you think I'm Robin? Robin from Fire Emblem? I say as I look at her confused. From Fire Emblem? Fire Emblem isn't a place, it's that shield thingy Chrom has. Lissa said as she grew more concerned for me. All right, so you're Lissa, like actually Lissa, I asked as I watched her smile. Yes, I'm glad you're remembering. Nothing was making sense to me. It was like a strange dream. Lissa was here and real, and she thought I was Robin. I looked away from her and down at myself, and sure enough, I was wearing Robin's tactician outfit. As I looked down at my pants and hands, my hair suddenly fell forward, showing me 2 long bundles of white hair. Wait, I have long hair? I mumbled as I followed the hair up to my head. To Twin Tails? Am I female Robin? I yelled suddenly. Lissa was startled by my outburst and ended up jumping backwards. Yes, I suppose that's one way to say it. I still find it so strange that there are male versions of you here. I ignored Lissa and pressed my hands against my chest. Sure enough, I had breasts, not large ones, not very noticeable, but clear indications that I was a woman currently. Why do they feel so real? I asked, not really speaking to anyone, but Lissa was next to me, so she figured I was talking to her. I don't know how to answer that. I'm not sure you're okay. We might have to do a full retreat. I looked up at her. Retreat? We're in the middle of a battle? I said as I jumped to my feet. That's right, Chrom and Lucina are still fighting nearby, Lissa said as she pointed at the direction we came from. We were supposed to take out the Risen in that area, but there were a lot of them, and then we ended up getting sucked through some sort of portal, which was when the Risen hit you on the head. I see, I said as I looked down and put my hand on my chin to think. I had no idea if this was real or just a dream, but it felt real, and it seemed best to treat it as if it were real. That meant, as embarrassing as it was, I was female Robin, and I was inside the Fire Emblem world. It seemed the original Robin, whom I've taken over for, and her party were on a mission for Prince Alphonse when they were ambushed and teleported to another location. I think I understand now. We need to return to Ascar, but before that, we should rescue Crom and Lucina, I said as I looked at Lissa. That's great. We can always count on you, Robin, even when you're totally confused and have no clue what's going on, Lissa says as she grabs a hold of my hand again. They were this way. With that, she began pulling me back the way we came a moment ago, and after a few minutes, we came across Crom and Lucina fighting diligently. Robin! Crom shouted as he noticed us approaching. He then pulled out a spare sword from his side and tossed it to me. I was a little freaked out having something so sharp and heavy thrown at me, but as it got closer, muscle memory kicked in, and I jumped forward and reached my hand out, catching the sword before it hit me or landed on the ground. Even quicker than it landed in my hand, enemies surrounded me. I gulped, doing my best to push my fear down, and then I pointed my weapon at the Risen in front of me. As I stood there preparing myself to fight, I felt someone's back press against mine. I turned my head slightly to see it was Crom, who had his head turned enough to see me. We've got your back, don't worry, he said with a smile before facing forward. I smiled, then turned to my side to see Lucina and Lissa ready to fight. We're ready, Robin, Lissa said as she held her staffs tightly. Give the command, Mother, and we'll wipe them out, Lucina said as she slashed her spear. Mother? I mumbled nervously. That was a whole other level to this whole thing I wasn't ready for, so like my fear, I pushed that out of my mind. I took another deep breath, then faced the enemy. All right, Lissa, you stay in the middle of us. Heal us while we work on cutting down the enemies. Crom, you take my left, as you're currently using an axe and those enemies have spears. Lissa and Crom nodded and moved as I ordered. I was about to tell Lucina to get on my right side since she had a spear and those enemies had swords, but she was smart like her mother and moved into position on her own. All right, everyone, attack, I yelled as I ran at one of the Risen. Hello there. Did you like the video? If you did, leave a like or even a comment. Comments are great and I love chatting with you. Anyway, check out my Patreon and DeviantArt pages if you haven't already. Both support my work and it would mean a lot to me if you check them out. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening. I hope you all have the best day ever.